Gerald Lucas here with another installment of Ask Gerald, where you get your real estate questions answered. Holiday edition. So I get a lot of questions from, new landlords, and I wanted to make use of the holiday times to make some, I think, important points about landlording. This is a picture of the Grinch, right? The kind of bitter curmudgeon that we know from holiday stories. But contrary to popular belief and what many, particularly novice landlords, mistakenly believe, the Grinch would not be a successful landlord. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to debunk 3 myths around landlording that the Grinch might employ but would not serve him well in the long run. The first myth is that as a landlord, you should try to squeeze every last dollar out of your rents. And it makes sense that people want to do that because people want to get the most rent to maximize their profits as a landlord. The problem is that the market decides how much money you make as a landlord, not you. And so all of your tenants or potential tenants are out looking at houses or apartments to rent, and they're going to get the best deal that they can, regardless of what you want. So the market decides what you will get as a landlord, not you. It's important that you recognize that, because a lot of times when you hold out for a higher rent, you end up with a vacant apartment. And greedy landlords have vacant apartments. You maximize your revenues as a landlord by collecting as many rent checks as you can, not by sitting in an empty apartment or house wondering why nobody wants to rent from you. Landlord myth number 2 that I'm going to debunk is that in order to be a successful landlord, you have to fight with your tenants. And it's a blood sport where the landlord wins and the tenant is left bleeding on the floor. Nothing could be further from the truth. A landlord-tenant relationship has to be a symbiotic one. If it's not, guess what? You're going to have more problems. You're going to end up spending more time in landlord-tenant court. That will often cost you more money depending on where you are, because in many cases you'll have to get an attorney to represent you, etc. And your reputation as a landlord or real estate professional in general is your most important asset, particularly in the age of social media. So the most successful landlords make sure that everybody, their tenants are satisfied and that nobody loses, essentially. Because if not, you're going to end up losing in the long run. So that's myth number 2. Myth number 3 is that a lot of people mistakenly believe, as I'm sure the Grinch does, that as a landlord, in order to be successful, the best way to go about it is to be a bully and see what you can get away with. Again, that is wrong. What goes around comes around, and you'll get a bad reputation. You'll spend more time showing apartments and filling apartments because people will move out, people will call code enforcement on you, etc. It's not the way to go. You want to abide by the golden rule. Now, you don't let people take advantage of you either, right? So you obviously need to be firm but fair, but you've got to be fair. It's not about what you can get away with. So you want to adhere to the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So thank you very much. Happy holidays. For more real estate information and tips, visit my blog at geraldlucas.com. I'm Gerald Lucas, and both I and the Grinch want to wish you a happy holiday.